Hi, it's Karen from the Reading Corner. Today we're going to be talking about some CVC activities. And basically, this is in the curriculum. It's also on our website. But these are basically CVC, which is consonant, vowel, consonant, and letters or dots to represent the sounds. So there's two different levels. There's this one that has the object and the three letters. And then there's this one that has the object and actually has the letters. So if you're starting on this one, you're more starting on like a phonemic awareness level. And basically, if you think about phonemic awareness, you're talking about sound. So instead of having the letters to represent the sounds, you're just hearing, your child's just hearing the sounds and then putting those sounds together to make the word. If your child's ready for this one, they've actually got the letters as support. Two things I want to say before we get into actually how I do this activity. One is this is actually the last step of phonemic awareness. So when you're thinking about phonemic awareness and teaching kids how to take chunks of words and break them down, you really start with compound words like hairbrush or toothpaste. So those are just simple things that you can do with your child. I actually did it with my kids when they were in the bathtub just because I knew it was a really important activity, but I knew I wasn't going to be like talking about it all day. So it was one of those things that I knew in the bathtub we would practice some of these activities, and it kind of just gave me that time period in my day to make sure that we were playing these word games. So basically you just say, I'm going to say the word hair, brush, and I'm going to leave that pause in there, and your child would then put it back together. Once you feel like your child's really confident with that level, then you go on to what's called onset and rhyme. Basically, onset and rhyme, everyone thinks it's like the rhyming words, like R-H-Y-M-E, but it's actually spelled R-I-M-E. And basically, it's just the beginning chunk of a word and an ending chunk of a word. So now we're going to say words like tr-uck or full hour. And we're going to keep that chunk at the beginning and we're going to put the pause there. And again, what your child's doing is he or she is hearing those sounds, having those isolated sounds in their brain, and then having to regurgitate the word out. After that is more like syllables. So I might say butterfly, and they're going to put that together. And then we go to CVC. And the reason why I have this in here at this point in the curriculum is because in the curriculum there is still phonemic awareness activities like compound words and onset and rhyme. But this is a great one just to model, if not anything. So you can start with just saying, this is a fin. Listen to mommy or listen to me as I say the sounds. F, what's that word? And then your child's going to say it back to you. I tend to put tons of stuff on the sheet because I don't want you to print something out and there's going to be two activities. So this can sometimes be overwhelming for a child. So I do tend to cut it up just so you can flip through them and they're isolating the activity. They're seeing that one object and then they're moving on to the actual sounding out. So the three different ways that I typically do this is, number one, I do it just like this. And it's a really good warm-up at the beginning of the day, whether you're doing it in whole group or if you're just warming up with your child to start your homeschool day. I'm just quickly doing these. I mean, it takes like 2 seconds. So I'm just going to say, this is a pit. It. What's that? And then eventually you're going to take that away and you're just going to say pit, or not even say it and have your child say those sounds that they hear. Another way I do it is I cut out the objects and then I leave the letters all together, and then we play a matching game. So I'm going to put the objects on one side, I'm going to put the letter combinations on another side, or the words, and I'm going to say, can you find the word or the object, fin? And they're going to find it, and then they're going to find the word that matches with it. So now they're really having to pay attention to their letters and make sure that they're seeing the letters that represent that word. And then the other way I do it is after that, I cut it all up. So I'm going to cut out the objects, and then I'm going to cut out the letters, and they're going to have to take an object, and they're going to have to find the letters that make that word. Now, if having all those letters is overwhelming, you can just give them the 3 letters that make that word, and they have to put in the correct order. So it's really teaching them still concepts of print, that we move from left to right, that we point to our letters as we make the sounds, and that we make letters or words start at the left and they glide and move to the right. The other thing I was going to say is, notice when I say my sounds, I say them very clear, like f, I keep them very short. What typically people do is they add what's called a schwa at the end, which is almost like an extra sound. So instead of saying fin, or like f, they say f. Or instead of saying they say n or g or b. It's B's and G's are a lot of times. And what that does is when you're going to do the activity, now you're saying b, D. So you're almost adding an extra sound in there. It gets confusing for kids. But I explained that a little bit more in our letter sounds and movements, and that's what I wanted to just make sure I gave you, is on our website you can find a letter sounds and movement activity that's going to go through all the sounds and make sure that you guys are saying it the right way and you're not adding those extra schwas. We do it all the time. Like, I can walk in my classrooms all the time. I'm like, oh, make sure you're saying them clear. So don't feel like you don't know letter sounds and you have to practice them. It is really important for them to learn it the right way. So this was our how-to video. If you want me to work with your child on actually doing the activities, make sure you go to our website and look at our instructional videos. Thanks for joining me.